And I think this is the whole, essence of this report, to paint the picture to the youngsters today that this is not that glamorous to become, Triad member. You have to undergo a lot of restrictions. And I think this is, as I said, there is some deterrent effect.
For those young people who are committed to Triad activities, they would have ways to get away from being identified. And if just a mere indication of their possible Triad membership would be an offense, then they would just not admit it in the public. They would just do it more carefully.
Focus has learned that because of the recent heat on triads, Triad gang leaders have already started telling their young followers not to claim themselves as Triads. LC2 and others feel that these suggestions and much of the rest of the report are missing the root of the problem.
Apparently the concentration is going to be on ex-prisoners, usually young people. The emphasis is not on organized crime, and I think it's useless.
Why, if we are really determined to deal with organized international crime, why are these studies not directed at the activities that we presume takes place at the very top? And I would have been far happier to see the report focused at that level. But it may be a little bit uncomfortable because, of course, if you were to give the police power to examine bank accounts and so on, then, of course, the middle class of Hong Kong will then feel slightly threatened. And our legislative councillors are middle class. So their reaction becomes a very quick and instinctive one, because they feel easily identified with the impingements upon their liberties. But what I feel a little disturbing is that when liberties of the vulnerable people of Hong Kong are trampled upon, there seems to be no instant reaction.
In fact, some of the report's proposals are aimed at the top, but options like a grand jury, an anti-triad force, and new conspiracy laws are merely transplants from the United States. Some people feel that these can't be adapted to Hong Kong, and options dealing with the major sources of triad income, such as vice and drugs and illegal gambling, aren't fully discussed in the report. Some people even feel that the report is very incomplete. Some critics say that tougher measures will be effective only if rehabilitation is improved, so that ex-prisoners won't have to go back into a life of crime. Other people say that this report doesn't focus on how to prevent young people from getting involved in youth gangs.
These kind of youth gangs are breeding grounds for professional criminals. These gangs usually exist in the form of several age groups, but they all bear the same triad titles. For example, a boy of 12 years old fought a protector of 15. He call him a big brother. And this 15-year-old boy fought another big brother of 18. And this 18 guy may fall a protector of over 20, and usually a professional criminal. And this relationship link all the guys up, and so that the younger boys have a chance to learn the techniques and subculture of triad society from their big brothers. So years later, the boys may have a chance to graduate into a professional criminal and involved in organized crime. They should obey
Mr. Low favors counseling of delinquent youths so they can escape the grip of the triads.
Yes,
Dr. Cheung points to the need for civic education.
If the government is just taking tougher measures on the triad societies, then without the kids understanding why, then they would just remain curious, right? So that's not enough. What I'm saying is that I think public education or educational kind of program directed towards juvenile, the youngsters, is necessary.
係嘥咗幾年時間咁啦，即係希望都冇咩希望㗎啦，即係而家即係都揾食又難係咪先？即係普通咧你做，即係求其啊有份嘢做啊，食得飽算㗎啦，冇話即係其他諗㗎。
有咩辦法可以令到嗰啲所謂後生仔啦， 唔會加入黑社會咯。
呢啲啊，即係你問我，真係我冇乜辦法啊！真係，即係我自己本身都係呢啲人啦。你問我有咩辦法啫？即係我答唔到呢個問題。
Even if the supply of manpower is cut off, it will take some time for the central organization to be seriously affected. The question is, if Hong Kong's Triad problem is really critical, can that much time be spared? Clearly, drastic action is needed now, but there are doubts that the Fight Crime Committee's Triad report will fit the bill.
I don't think what has been proposed will really get to the root of the problem. I think there are lots of proposals which, in my opinion, are fairly superficial.
There are some good suggestions in it, but there are such glaring omissions that I don't see how anything is going to be done on the recommendations of the report alone. What is going to be done about it? Is it just going to be a sort of a show of an exercise on the government's part?